welcome to my YouTube channel. I do sincerely apologize for taking some time off. Well, about 2 weeks I haven't posted a video. I'm sorry. Welcome everyone. If you are a regular here, and if you're a fresher, thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. My name is Oyetunde-Lawal. Yes, I'm usually in my element and as comfortable as I possibly can. So yeah, that's why. And I record in the car. I try to record in the car actually, not all the time, but yeah, most of the time. So today I just want to do a quick video and talk about something I am going to title The Power of Shared Stories. Yes, the power of shared stories. What does that mean? I find out that a lot of the things that we suffer from as individuals, quite often, apart from the fact that some of these things are attached to the trajectory of life and the processes involved with life's journeying, a lot of it is because we rarely look for people with similar stories, which is why, and I'll give examples, which is why for a lot of us, we suffer in silence, we suffer in secret, and then something happens and everybody starts to realize that, oh, our stories are a lot more identical than we possibly might have thought in all of our lives. And it cuts across in different areas. Take for instance domestics. Some people have had amazing experiences with their domestics, that when other people are sharing experiences of how hellish their domestics are, they cannot relate. And the truth is, we can't force them because they do not have that experience for them to relate. However, empathy is that, or I do not understand how you are living because I haven't experienced it. However, my heart is with you on so and so level. That is what empathy is about. And that is for domestics. So take medical experiences for instance. I have shared on here, well, more like on Instagram, subtly, that I had fibroids removal sometime in 2020. And I remember that just a few days ago on a live session on Instagram, I did, hint again about it and state categorically what the journey was like. And also say that I will share in detail what that experience was like. And it's taken me a long while, but I will share in detail. Just give me a little time. I'm compiling my story together. I'll share in detail what that experience was like. Finding out that I had fibroids, deciding when to take it out, looking for who to see in terms of a gynecologist, what decisions that I took, why I went with who I went with, and the post-care and that. So the few times I have hinted about the fibroid surgery removals, a few people have reached out to me to say, oh, where did it happen? When did it happen? And I really would not ask them, do you have fibroids? I'll just say, I'll just say, oh, you need the contact of the doctor. Oh yeah, here it is. Because the 2 times I have shared, one in my Insta stories, I posted there that if anyone has an interest, just reply the story or send me a DM to ask information about the doctor. So, I shared his contact, and I'll always tell them that it is on a per patient basis. So I cannot say statically how much it will cost to have fibroids removed. And as we already know, removal of surgeries differ in prices from private institutions to government institutions. A lot of our doctors are so good, a whole lot of them. So because I started to share subtly, I started to see that I am encouraging a few people. More of the people that I have had impact over are friends, personal friends, who I either had known that they have found out that they have fibroids, or people that have been encouraging to say, oh, how long ago did you did you have a gynecological checkup? A video that I also touched somewhere on my channel, and I asked, I think, when was the first time you visited a gynecologist and under what circumstances? That was what birthed that question, my fibroids removal. as the case may be. So I find out that because a lot of us women and men want to guard our stories for whatever reasons, and the reasons are a whole lot, and I'll run through some of them. Some of us are scared. We're scared about people talking about us. And for people who are fortunate enough to be listeners and people who people can confide in, it's usually a lot for them to navigate that whole journey, where you say, why does it feel like everybody's comfortable sharing their secret with me? Nobody wants to listen to my secret. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody. Well, unfortunately, I don't know how to answer you, but I believe also that as with me, I've been able to find, or now I can say I'm now being blessed with people who equally can listen to me share stories or experiences when I do have them and I'm willing to share. So because of that, the power of keeping an experience with me is so safeguarded, and I am certain that no one else will hear it, because I know for a certainty that it is your experience to share in your own time. But what I found out over time is from the fear of the stories being circulated, from fear of misadventure, mishap, say if it's a case of fertility, a fertility journey, people get so scared to share when they're probably pregnant because, what do people say? What if something happens to the child? Very valid reasons. And some people also fear because they'll rather just keep their experiences to themselves because they are still processing where they're at. But if you find yourself in a position where people are open enough to sharing their stories with you or their journeys with you, and you realize that you are not comfortable keeping quiet about it, I believe very strongly that you can actually decline being told these stories. And I feel like it will hurt the people who are supposedly to share their stories with you, but you have just safeguarded everyone's interest, and you have just declined to say, I'm so sorry, I am not sure that in this moment I'll be able to keep this experience to myself. Is it possible that you find another person, but in this moment where I am, my mental strength is incapable of handling this reality? Just find a way to coin it. And what that does is the persons involved keep quiet, either forever and keep the journey and the experience to themselves, or experience another person who can easily keep their journey with them. Now, the danger of keeping our stories to ourselves is that we do not help as many people as we ought to help. I get it. I get it a whole lot. For several factors and for several reasons, so many things happen. But the beauty of how God has created us and made us is such that we are to help each other. We are to empower each other. We are to hold each other's hands. And the only thing I can always say is you can prayerfully seek those whose trust you have earned, and vice versa, and then share this journey or experiences with, because you need to share these experiences when the time is right. It's also very necessary for us to openly share our stories under whatever platforms that it is that we have. If social media is your biggest tool and your biggest platform, and you get to go ahead in your spirit, go ahead and share that experience with as many people as you can liberate. I will share my own fibroid story in detail because in the space of finding out, in the space of knowing, I almost immediately took it out. But that was not without pain, literally and figuratively. And I also did experience people who had come with a lot of stuff. I found out so much of ignorance in this space, and I concluded that if a lot more people would share their fibroid removal stories, a lot more women will be encouraged. So if you have any story, I believe that whether it's business, it's on the family front, it's a story about trust, whatever the experience is, secrecy is killing us. It is killing us in a level, or rather on a level that we never ever thought could happen. People are dying literally and figuratively, because nobody's sharing experiences. Everybody's keeping things to themselves. Everybody's scared. Everybody's this, everybody's that. God made us so that we can connect with each other. It is what it is. Very simple book, The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. Very, very simple book. But what that book does to your mind, if you allow it, is to show you that truly no man is an island, not a single person. I am not downplaying that many people have not confided in people and have not been burnt. Absolutely. But the reality is, it is not on you, it is on them for failing, in understanding what being vulnerable and what it means to be mute about certain stories. As some people share their journeys and experiences with you, in no way gives you the right to share their stories openly when and however you feel. It is their story to tell in the time that they are comfortable with. So I believe that if a lot of us decide to really truly live how, in my estimation, God has intended that we live, many of the things that we're scared about, many of the hurt that we experience, it actually is a part of the process. And if we share these experiences, it helps and it cuts across. I had mentioned family, I had mentioned business. And if you look at business, for instance, which is why we had so many motivational speakers when it came to entrepreneurs in Africa. How did you do it? Oh, you say it's the will of God, or it's the grace of God. How did you navigate a toxic business environment? What did you do? Who did you employ? What kind of staff did you employ? What qualities did you look out for in the people that you were hoping to employ? These are the things that help other people coming behind you, or even people already in the game, to learn from your experience. We recently watched a story of a car merchant in Nigeria talk about how he had trusted someone, a mentee of some sort, and it ended in premium tears. If you find out from that man, you would know that he still continued to have mentee-mentor relationship with other people. That he was burnt did not completely change the fiber of who he was as an individual. So, and I think that it cuts across for everyone. By nature, I am so easily trusting. But then life experiences happen, and then things begin to happen, and I'm like, okay, you know what, let me just be on my own. So it happens to the best of us. But I believe very strongly that in this season, we need to share our experiences more. We need to hold each other's hands so that people can learn from our experiences. People can avoid the mistakes that we've made. People can learn not to make the mistakes that we made. It cuts down a lot of stuff. Experience is the best teacher is nonsense, because really you don't have to experience a lot of the things that I have had to experience for you to learn the lessons, and even much more bigger and better lessons that I learned on my own journey. I believe very strongly that if we share our stories genuinely, if we share our stories wholeheartedly, if we share our stories openly, and if we begin to condemn people who in the name of gist continue to pickpocket and just continue chit-chat about people's experiences, we begin to correct this narrative and things get better. Okay? So if there's anything I want you to take away from this video, is the fact that there's power in shared experiences. Every single one of us has a story that we can share for another person to learn and protect themselves from. Okay? Thank you for joining. I do appreciate you. Please like, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't, and share. But I really want to hear from you. How has it been for you with shared experiences? Are you one who easily shares? Are you one who has been beating? What has it been for you, and how have you been able to navigate it? And do you agree with me that we were actually made for each other? Do you? I want to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.